Can you use VR technology to learn and teach languages? Hello noble ones and welcome to Metatron's Academy, the channel where we explore how to learn languages in the most fun and effective way possible, and VR headsets are a fascinating piece of tech that can absolutely be used for language learning. But how so? Well, of course there are all sorts of different types of headsets that you could get your hands on, but budget is also a thing, and I think that's why the Oculus Quest 2 is probably the best option right now. I mean, Apple mentioned the new VR headsets, although they don't call it that way, but it is a VR headset, but that one is extremely expensive. There are other options, but I think the Quest 2 has some great advantages. Advantage number one, it's relatively cheap, or should we say cheaper than the rest, and also it's the fact that it's wireless, so you can just put it on and you don't have to worry about wires or cables. But what sort of linguistic content do you have here? Well, there are two things that you can do with this, both for your own learning and for possible students you've got. The first thing that you can do is actually use language learning apps on this. Now, there aren't many, but there is one at least that I'd like to talk about today and tell you whether or not I think it's well made, it's polished, and it can be used. And secondly, you can actually use anything in here and transform it into a language practicing exercise. And when it comes to the latter, so this very last one I mentioned, I have tested it on many students when I was a full-time teacher, and gosh, it works. The app that I'd like to review in this case is called Language Lab, and it's actually pretty good. It's not the best possible, but the way it works is that you choose the language you want to learn. They don't have an infinite amount of languages, but they do have quite a few. So you select the language you want to try, and then the app puts you inside this house, and you are allowed to go around into different, for example, you can go to the kitchen, you can go to the bedroom, you can go to the bathroom, to the living room, and not only can you interact with the furniture, the objects, the items that you would normally find in these areas. They don't have a lot of objects. I think they will keep on adding stuff, but as of now, it's a little scarce, but you do have quite a few objects like fruit and meat and vegetables and pans and knives and forks and cutlery, for example, in the kitchen, and then bedroom and TVs and all that kind of stuff. And then once you point them, the app makes you try and remember how to pronounce them. So it has a little bit of a gaming factor to it, which makes it fun. You get to also do some little games. For example, in the living room, there is a game that teaches you colors, and then they light up and you need to pronounce it correctly. And then there are other games that teach you numbers, that teach you days of the weeks, and so forth. So the app is pretty neat. Eventually, I want to say, if you do it repeatedly for a month, you'll learn everything, and then hopefully they will keep on expanding. I remember when it first came out, I tried it immediately, and they only had the kitchen. Then they added the bathroom, they added the second floor, and so it seems like they keep developing stuff for it. So it's definitely something to look for, and it's not expensive, so definitely suggested. But now let's talk about the second part. So how can you transform any VR experience, or most VR experiences, into language experiences? So here is what I try to do with my students. So what they did, and back in the day we even tried this with the DK2 or the original Oculus development kit, you can absolutely do it with this one. So you choose a VR experience. It could be, for example, walking around the forest. It could be even just the beginning of a game in an area where there isn't too much action, or it can be anything, because you have all of these different experiences. Sometimes they're just look only, sort of. You can look around and something happens, like a dinosaur arrives, or you are on the top of a skyscraper, or perhaps you are in a busy town. And even a driving simulator, a boxing game, it doesn't matter what game it is. What they need to do as they put on the VR headset, what you need to do is describe everything you see. Use your English or your Italian or your Japanese to try and describe the things you see. So something that is good to do in preparation of this is make sure that they know a few adjectives, maybe a couple of new adjectives that they can try and use, and review a little nouns. For example, if you're doing something in a forest, maybe teach them a few of the vocabulary first. Then they start practicing that, and they start saying, okay, I'm in a forest right now. I see that there are many trees with leaves. They are green. It seems empty. I don't see any animals. Or maybe, hey, there is a bunny, and over there I thought I saw a red fox. The weather today is a good day, so it's not raining, it's not snowing, it's probably quite hot. I can see the blue sky, there aren't many clouds. I can see the grass under me, and that kind of situation. Then you transport that into a city situation, so they can start saying, I can see a coffee shop and there are quite a few people, it's a busy day, maybe it's raining, and so they can say, right now it's raining, it's snowing, you could even use different situations. As they do that, Of course, there will be many things that they see, and you can usually see what they see because there is a way to check out the monitor. So as they are doing that, you notice that, for example, they saw a lamppost, but they didn't say it. Maybe they don't know the word. Write it down as a teacher. That also works for yourself, by the way. Maybe like they saw a kind of animal, they just call it an animal. They don't know what to call it. Write it down. Maybe they're seeing like some windows with jewelry in it, and maybe they don't know that kind of vocabulary, or clothes. Write it down. So the second time, as they remove the headset, they did the first thing very well. Then you want to give them the new vocabulary. And because this is an interactive experience and they get to play, students love it and they remember stuff. So even adjectives or nouns or even verbs, they can be complicated to remember since you're doing it as you're having fun. That works with you as well. Even if you don't have students, you can do it with you. Take all those verbs and adjectives and words that you just cannot remember and put them all into this. Choose a situation where, for example, you're pretty confident when it comes to nature, a naturalistic environment, you know your words, you know cave, and you know all of these words. Great. How about in a city scenario, inside a museum, inside a room with a lot of furniture? Do you know all the words? Choose something that you feel you can improve, and then select. After you've done it the first time, you test it, but you notice there are a few things you didn't know how to say. Then write them down, look for them, look them up, and then put it on again and try to use the new vocabulary. This is a fantastic way to practice while having fun, and because you are having fun while you're doing this, then this will translate and will make all those new words stick into your memory. Here is another example, a driving game. What I like to do is go into the time trial in VR, remove enemies, opponents if possible, and just do like a practice run so that I don't have to worry about focusing on how I'm performing in the game. So the game starts, and I don't even start. I just look around and start describing everything, the vocabulary for the car. That's the clutch, the brake, the hand wheel, the blinkers, windshield or windscreen, the hood or the bonnet, the trunk or the boot. You start describing everything. And once again, if there are things you don't know, you might want to write them down for the second time. And then as you start driving, you describe what you're doing. So right now, I'm shifting gear, shifting to first. I'm going to start driving. I'm going straight. Now I'm turning right. And now I'm slowing down. I've applied the brake. I've come to a full stop. I'm at the stoplight right now. You can even make it up, to be honest. And once again, describe the weather with new vocabulary. Describe the scenery that you're seeing with new vocabulary. Describe your car. Description is fantastic, but only when applied to something you can see, because then there is a connection to actual stimuli that you're receiving from the environment, which is how we learn languages in reality. With this, because it can give you illusion of presence, then it can also give you illusion of learning in a real environment. It's not real, but it feels real. And now to the part that has to do with your own experiences. Have you ever tried it? First of all, do you own one of these? Are you interested in getting one of these, even if just for gaming? And if so, have you ever tried to use this as a language tool to improve your fluency and your overall vocabulary? Absolutely let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for joining Metatrons Academy. If you appreciate my content so far and wish to help ensure my ability to continue to tell it how it is, regardless of any possible backlash, please support this channel on Patreon. Any support helps me and my team of academics keep the channel strong and gives us the means to fight back against the political rewriting of history. Stand with us, form the wall, defend the truth.